Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your end of March 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So, we're going to have a full moon on March 28th, and it's going to be at 8 degrees of Libra. So for early degree Taurus people, this is going to be in your 6th house of work, and this can be a promotion or a walking off the job. You know, if you've had enough. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but when I said this to another sign not too long ago, they wrote to me and it was like exasperation. You're saying either they're going to get a promotion or they're going to lose their job or walk off of their job. And they thought it was so crazy that it was at that extreme. Well, that's how life is, because the full moon is a sense of things coming to a head. So if you think about it, or, you know, but that's just one way of looking at it. We can also just say things coming to fruition. And even in cases where you're fed up with a situation, in this case, a job, and you walk off of it, it has come to the fruition point where it has gone as far as it can go. You've done what, you know, you tried to do a good job. You maybe did do a good job, but for whatever reason, the conditions don't support continuing to be in that space. Okay. So is that something bad? No, that isn't something bad, because change isn't bad. It may feel bad in the process of walking off, and certainly it would be much better to do so in a less dramatic sense and just kind of say, okay, and if you call it quits, just to be very, thoughtful in the process than to just kind of be reactive, because, full moons are times when emotions run high. So people, especially with a sign like Taurus, which has Uranus transiting your sign, you may become more unpredictable than you usually are and do things that you would never even dream of doing, because it's like you're just bursting at the seams and you want to be free. So this idea of doing so can involve declaring your independence by just deciding, hey, I'm done, and that's it. So for other people who have been working really hard and they have a harmonious situation, they could be, enjoying the fruits of their labor and getting a promotion, getting some kind of recognition at work. For others, and this may be the majority of you, but I'm not going to get into exact degrees anymore, this is going to fall in your 5th house, and it can have a romantic effect. Or, conversely, for people who have been dating somebody and they find out something about them that isn't very pleasing and they cut it off with that person. I mean, it really can be that different depending on situations. Not all Taurus people are going through the same things in life, obviously. There you are. The king on his throne. I've been getting the Hierophant a lot, and that's Taurus. Oh my goodness. Everything is turning up Taurus. Coming up Taurus. Interesting. The heart of the matter is the King of Pentacles. This, all pentacles are connected to earth signs, and I did get the Hierophant as well, which is a card of marriage and tradition. The king can either be a father or a boss, an authority figure, can be an aspect of yourself that you are activating, because in this case, it would be like you're really raking it in and you're really feeling that sense of autonomy, self-empowerment that comes from, having a thriving business that is allowing you to call your own shots. Now, if there is a person in your life, perhaps this would be a fellow earth sign, or they have a strong earth signature in their chart that, and by the way, I used to just talk about, inner planets and in a particular element or something like that. But now that I think about it, it could be like a stellium or a concentration of planets in one earth house or more than one earth houses. So that would give like earthly matters are very important to that person. So, for some of you, this might be something you're aspiring to become, this mogul, this person who's able to, amass a lot of money. So let me just keep going. The past position, we have the Hierophant, and this is a card of marriage and also the spiritual. Now, the Hierophant and the Hermit card are major arcana cards, and we could say that they have some sort of spiritual connection there. The Hierophant, to me, though, is more of the outer trappings of success. Why did I say outer trappings of success? I was just kind of distracted by the Three of Pentacles. Outer structure of God in the form of organized religions. The Hermit is like very individualistic. It's going within. And when we go within, it's not something that is interchangeable with somebody else who's going within, because we're all on our own journeys. So it's very important to keep that in mind, that, whatever it is that you're dealing with in your life, understand that you're not the only one who's dealing with these issues, but only you have a specific background and therefore future that you can be on. You can't copy anybody else's path. And so sometimes when you're dealing with organized religion, they're expecting you to fit into this box. And you might like certain elements of it, but feel frustrated by other aspects of it. And you can still enjoy it as long as it's not overwhelmingly negative. And some people decide that it is too restrictive or too negative for them, and they decide to leave that situation. Now, one thing we can also say, though, you are a Taurus, so your belief system, which the Hierophant can represent, can sometimes be something that is very, very sensible and very rooted or grounded in this 3D reality, but because you're a dynamic being like everybody else, you may have been experiencing a lot of shifts lately, because this is just how we have been experiencing things. Shift happens. And it's been happening like crazy because, some people who have been around this earth for decades, like I have, and maybe some of you have, can say, knowing the difference, saying, wow, I've never seen it this crazy. And if you just leave it at that and go on about your business, then you're not really engaging life. Because if you really ask, you'll say, well, why is it happening that way? What is the reason for this crazy stuff going on? And then you start to investigate, and that's how you become more and more aware of things that are happening at a higher level. And for some Taurus people, this can feel very unsettling because You know, the thing about the earth is it's very comforting because it's tangible. Actually, with Uranus in your sign, you are starting to really embrace these types of things. So it's not something that is going to elude you. You're going to be able to get comfortable with it, but it's in that in-between stage for everybody. The higher message is the Three of Pentacles. This is a card of the architect who, if you think about anything that we endeavor to do, whether it be something major or something that's not, well, especially if it's something important, is that we create that structure for it. And the structure has to be, in the foundation, we could call it, has to be something that is very, durable, whatever you want to call it, strong. And so with the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles, and actually, this is also a card of children, having children. I think I seem to recall that. I don't know, lately I haven't seen that. This can be perfectionism. This can be someone who will get what's coming to them based on, their skill. So certainly, I'm trying to think of what is coming down the pike. I just think that there is this possibility for you to really impress others with your skill. And this is part of your plan, but what might be a little bit conflictive, is that the word, within you, is that if you have recently started attending church or being more on a spiritual path, you may question the financial angle of it, because if you have been someone who has been very motivated by money, it's possible, stranger things have happened, that you might find that you're no longer as motivated, and there's something else that is speaking of meaning for you. And we're talking about, look, we have here as the challenge position the Nine of Swords, which is a card of anxiety. So the challenge to me is to being able to see what makes you uncomfortable and not pressing through it, because Taurus is a sign, and especially if you have Mars in Taurus as well, where you are the steamroller, you're somebody who just has this, perhaps this very persistent nature, and you're capable of just plowing through something and not taking no for an answer, not taking no for an answer from yourself if you feel like uncomfortable about something. And that has to change, where you are really looking inside at what makes you uncomfortable, what kind of makes you feel like you're oppressed and like you can't be who you are. King of Pentacles may be something you've already achieved, who knows? And you're just, you're like financially secure and you have accomplished those goals, but you have other goals to accomplish. And maybe they're not really material goals, and you think that they are still, and that's your kind of like self-deception in a certain way. What's coming in is the Hermit card, and that can indicate a period of solitude. So you can get your head together, so you can really reflect on what's happening. One thing I didn't say, and by the way, this card is associated with Virgo, which is one of the earth signs. But one thing I didn't talk about, personal relationships. The King of Pentacles may be somebody that you are married to, because we have the Hierophant, who has who is a great, generator of money. And that for you is so impressive because you're an earth sign. But something about that person is not necessarily fulfilling you as a partner. And I would say that perhaps if you feel like you're getting more on the spiritual path, you may not feel like the two of you are on the same page at the moment. And so there's not really that sense of being good partnership material anymore. The Hermit, in that case, could mean that you separate for a while so that you can experience being alone, which is so important when it's like a contemplative mind, but it's so important when we're trying to make big decisions, obviously, especially when we're trying to make big decisions, because we don't have other people's opinions drowning out our own intuition. The outcome is a justice card, and in those cases where marriage is involved, you may decide that you are going to get divorced. And I think that, this is a preview for what I feel is going to be happening with people who, especially with Taurus rising and Scorpio rising, is the issue of relationships, whether they last or not, will be front and center because there are going to be eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio that will hit your first house of the self, which is also, your independence, and the seventh house of committed partnership. And so this might be like a preview of what's to come. If you have a relationship that seems like it's good, then eclipses may give you an upgraded relationship where your change is for the better. It's not saying that everybody's going to experience relationship loss because it makes no sense. Not everybody has the same situation going on with their partner. Some people actually have an overall good relationship, and so they don't want to give up that relationship. If this is work-related, this can be a situation. You may have to make a decision about something. Yes, it's possible that there's some kind of a legal matter that's related to a business that you own or work for. But, like for instance, if you're coming from a corporate environment, and I see that with the Hierophant, and you're starting your own business or consulting or something like that, and somebody says, hey, you're taking our clients, I'm going to sue you, that kind of thing. But anyway, you may have to make a decision. The Hermit is about kind of withdrawing, so you can see things not only more clearly, but at a higher level, which really adds to clarity. In the world, there's so much clamor, there's so much noise, there's so much like trying to get people to be afraid all the time. So this can be like, tuning that out and tuning into your higher self. Okay, that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.